From an early age, the American people are indoctrinated with the idea of the American dream. An educational degree, a nice job, a good home. But the problem remains that many students in the country are not making it past even the high school level.
My job is essentially to work with the students that are at risk of not graduating from high school. So that would be students who have failed required classes for graduation, students that are truant and don't attend school regularly. It could be students that have family members that have never graduated from high school, and it could also be students that have a lot of discipline and behavior problems in school that are keeping them, from being able to be successful. Maybe they have a lot of out-of-school suspensions, which keep them from being here. And other behaviors which might have sent them to alternative school previously.
Every year, over 1.2 million students drop out of high school in the U.S. alone. That's a student every 26 seconds or 7,000 a day.
A high school dropout will earn $200,000 less than a high school graduate over his lifetime, and almost $1 million less than a college graduate.
Day to day, I see a variety of things. Probably the highest of the high and some of the lowest of the lows.
The U.S., which had some of the highest graduation rates of any developed country, now ranks 22nd out of the 27 developed countries.
I would like to believe that education is the path to success for all people, that it is the great leveler, so to speak, that it is the necessary component in a democratic society. I would like to believe that. I feel that education as it is right now does not seem to be able to achieve that for a variety of students.
I'll give you everything I have, I'll teach you everything I know, I promise I'll do better.
It's been a pattern throughout their entire life, and I don't know that you can necessarily profile a stereotype for that, but usually they're victim to their circumstance in some way. So if there's somebody that doesn't attend school regularly for whatever reason that might be, it could be a lack of motivation, but it could also be maybe their family members are encouraging them to work outside of school instead of attending regularly. And maybe school just isn't valued in their home, which might be why they're not attending. We also have some students that maybe have had children. There might be young mothers or young fathers who are working or taking care of their child, which keeps them from coming to school. So truancy and absence is usually the big red flag for why students would drop out, because if they aren't attending school, they fall behind on their credit hours required for graduation, and then by the time they become a senior, they are so far behind they feel like they can't make it, or they don't have enough time to make up all of the assignments and all the previous years that they've missed. So they end up dropping out, feeling like it's their only option.
Students I encounter that I would consider at risk are probably students who have missed certain kinds of stimulation along the way. They have not been in classes that required discipline, that required work, maybe classes that other students were also in a lower tracked setting. I think sadly many of those students have problems far outside of the classroom walls. A student the other day talked about stresses she was having with her family and possible eviction. That student has really no room to worry about a makeup quiz in her Latin class.
In 2010, 38 states had higher graduation rates. Vermont had the highest rate with 91.4% graduating, and Nevada had the lowest with 57.8% of students graduating.
While things do look to be getting better, there's still an underlying problem, a problem that is very real for many students.
Here at Huntington High School, we have a 56% free and reduced lunch rate, which essentially means that more than half of our student body can't afford to pay for their lunch. So we have a very poverty-stricken community here at Huntington High. And so those students at home are probably not getting the typical, the American dream. I think there's a number of different reasons why students, struggle, but the American dream, I don't know that a lot of our students really experience it for themselves now. They don't have a role model for that.
So why bother? Why should we care? And what can be done with a problem that seems so hopeless?
So if we have this doom and gloom attitude that nothing can be done at this point, that it's very sad and hopeless, but then again, I think about I'm seeing some of these faces right now, and I'm thinking, well, the time that they're with me, the time that they're sitting in Latin class, they're engaged, hopefully they're learning something. Maybe it's a bright moment. Maybe it's not about me handing them their sheet of makeup work. Maybe it's encouraging them, maybe even exempting them from one of the things I know they can't do because they don't have access to the internet at home to finish it. Maybe it's being a little kinder. Maybe it's just listening every so often when there is what seems to be a complaint or an excuse, but it's really a reason, a genuine reason. And maybe if that's what I can offer that student or those students, maybe that's enough for today. And something else will build on that. And there will be others, and there will be other people who can pick up the cause. And so you have to be hopeful that even if it's just for a short amount of time, that there's some goodness happening.
Promise I'll do better. I will soften every edge. I hold